Hello and welcome to the Gothic Unicorn. This week I'm going to be working in 1/48 scale. Now I should by rights be continuing with the outside of my last breath in, but for a number of reasons I'm not going to get into them here. But I want to give the outside, particularly the front, the attention that it deserves. So we're going to actually start today on something for the inside. So I brought the property onto the desk so that we can size things up and, well, let's get on with it. I have actually had my delivery from Petite Properties, and this contains bits that I want for the inn. And well, who doesn't love one of these black and white paper bags? It's not always Petite Properties stuff that comes in these though, but generally if I get a bag like this, there's something good inside. Now this one contains, I'll put those to the back, a variety of pieces that I need. It contains the doors that I need. So that's a door for each floor. And I'm going to use one of these door frames to make a alternative to the door in the bar area. I'm going to use some fabric, make it look like there's a curtain there, make it look like there's a doorway, and well, we'll see as we get along. Now I've got some chairs. I went for the fiddleback chairs again because they've got the kind of nice look. I'm not 100% sure where they're going, but chairs are always useful. I've got the corner counter kit, which is what we're going to be working on today. And then I've got a Edwardian double bed and a washstand kit, which are going to go upstairs. So that's the new bits that I bought. The most important ones were obviously the doors, because they give me the ability to continue with the interior. I have also pulled out a pile of bits and pieces that I've got that are going to hopefully go in this property. Most of these I've shown you before. They were from a recent, actually they were from my birthday haul. I can't find the other one of those. I'm certain that I bought one because I'd got this property coming up, but I can't find it. So either it'll turn up or I will replace it and then it'll turn up. And then I've pulled out a couple of pieces from the various advent calendars that I had that may go upstairs. Not sure that I'm going to use these yet. I'm going to see how it goes. And then I've also pulled out the stools for the retro table and stool set that I used in the kitchen of Hangman's Halt. I didn't use the stools, obviously. I kept those, and I may see if they can work as bar stools in the bar of the inn. So then put this lot aside, and we're going to have a look at the corner counter, which I want to use as the basis for my bar. Not sure how this is going to work, if this is going to work, but we shall see. As is usual, you've got all your wonderfully cut pieces, and I've got a nice set of instructions. Now, the first thing I need to do is to actually check how well this will fit where I want it to go. It's a very straightforward sort of a piece. It's got a shelf inside, not a problem. And a little bit, to show you the finished picture, a little bit of detail on the outside. So I'm quite pleased with the idea of it. It's just how it's going to fit in relation to my chosen position. Now, if I put the piece inside, hopefully you can see it. I've put the bar top on there. It's a little bit yeah, it's going to need a little bit of kit bashing. I'm going to have to build onto it a little bit to make it do what I want it to do. I want it to fit, come out so far, and then have a little bit, so it looks like there could be a little way through so that the bar person can get out into the pub without having to go round. I'm sort of very much making this up as I go along, but I think I can make it work. The doorway will sort of work to there. It's not the biggest. Yeah, I can make this work. As I say, I'm going to have to do a little bit of fiddling and so forth. Now, if I just check the height is going to come below my wooden panelling, which is what I suspected because I've done the wooden panelling quite high. So I'm going to start off putting this together, and then I'm going to look about how I can make some little bits to fit in to make it do what I want it to do, which, as I say, I always knew I was going to have to do. I knew it wasn't going to be a perfect fit, but I wanted a corner bar. Petite Properties do this kit for a corner counter, for a shop, for a pub, and I thought, well, we can make it work. We can always make it work if we really want to. Now, I'm going to apologise to you because I filmed a lovely section of footage of me actually making the kit, and I've lost all the sound. So I'm going to do this as a voiceover. Now, I started off by using one of my alcohol markers to colour in all the external pieces of the piece. Now, I left the inside white because I figured, why not? It's not going to be visible, and it probably makes sense for it to be white anyway. And I'm starting off with the base piece, which is the same as the shelf in size, etc. And I've got to put glue around the outside of this piece. And as always, I'm using my Cosmic Shimmer Specialist acrylic glue. This is just the glue that I like to use. I got introduced to it through paper crafting, and I find it works. It works as a tacky glue, it works as a runny glue. It's pretty good. So that's what I prefer to use. And yeah, I've got to put the glue all the way around the outside because this is the main joint, I suppose. Now, I'm having a few problems here because I've got to make sure I've got it the right way up, because it isn't square, it is actually slightly rectangular. And then I start fitting the sides, front, all the bits that are nicely together in one piece, and I've had to fold them and try and get them to stick around a quite, well, it's not complicated, the shape isn't, it's just a bit awkward because you haven't got a nice straight corner on that front, you've got a bit of a cut off corner. So we will stick that in place, and we need to hold it for a while. In the instructions for the properties, it actually tells you to count to 50 when you're holding things together. You need to hold it for longer than you think. I don't tend to count to 50, but it's a case of knowing your glue, and I do kind of know how this glue will react. Obviously the weather can affect it, and it does, and when it's more humid it takes a bit longer to dry, but it does set fairly quickly, as you can see. And I just clean off the loose bits and can move on to putting the shelf in place. Now the shelf is held by two little shelf supports, which are these little white bits, and they've just got to be stuck onto the end pieces. It's a really clever idea because it does mean that you know exactly where to put the shelf without there having to be little slots to put them through. So I'm quite pleased with that. Obviously, because my bar is going to be stuck in position the way it is, you're not going to see under the counter, and I'm not actually going to be putting anything under the counter, but I suppose the shelf does actually still give a little bit of rigidity, maybe, I don't know, but I've put it in anyway, and we'll know it's there even if nobody can ever see it once it's stuck into position. So I'm just sticking the second one of these little pieces in, and they are quite small. It still bewilders me every time I do a 1/48 scale build. So I get that into place and tidy it up, and then realise that I've got to put glue on top of them to stick the shelf in. I did check that the shelf actually fitted before I tried to stick it in place. Dry fitting at various stages is always a good plan. And so, using my trusty toothpick, I apply a bit more glue. I use toothpicks. Some people go for fine nozzled bottles that you can move your decant your glue into. That's the word I was looking for. But I tend to find that I don't get on with them. I've tried them. I tried the sticking a dressmaker's pin in the end to stop it from sticking. It didn't work. So I'll just stick with my toothpick. I normally have two, one for gluing and one for cleaning up. The cleaning up one almost always ends up with glue on it, and then it gets to be another gluey one, because with the best will in the world I can wipe them and I still get glue build up. With the shelf in, we've got the basic structure, and it's now time to apply some glue to stick the counter on. Now the counter has a overhang, which is what I'm demonstrating here. So on the outside there's a bit of a overhang, and I've got to remember to line up the counter on the inside when I come to stick it in place. Easier said than done sometimes. You know exactly what you're supposed to be doing, but you have to keep reminding yourself. And unfortunately, when I'm making these pieces and I'm trying to film it at the same time, I sound a bit strange, because I'm having to remind myself that I need to do what I need to do. Again, I've just got to check that I've got it the right way round, because I'm having a few problems with this piece, and try and line this up with the back. And there we go. Now I remove the excess glue from the sides and the front, because they're more likely to be visible than inside. And yeah, there's the Andy toothpick back into play. I've not found any other way other than using another toothpick. I use a toothpick and I'll probably annoy people because I do tend to wipe it on my hand or wipe it on the edge of the piece of card where I've got my glue. It just works. And then sometimes I still go back with my fingers and my nails and make sure that it looks okay. So there we have the basic structure of our counter, and it's quite sturdy. But this is Petite Properties, so we've got more trim to add. Now this is a plinth to go around the bottom, which is another long piece which needs fitting around, and I was debating whether to fit it all the way around or to cut it off and try and save bits, because I was aware that I needed to extend the piece, but I decided that I'm just going to stick it all into place, and that's what I'm playing with here. In this video you're getting to see all the sort of how does this look? Can I save this piece? Can I do that? Can I do this? And the answer generally is just get on with it and make it and figure it out afterwards. Now again, it's glue all over the piece. Not a lot, but enough. Probably looks quite a lot when I start off, but it doesn't take a lot to stick these bits, and they are stuck well. Because I realised after I'd done this, not this piece, the trim pieces, that I could have done things differently, but hey-ho, we will survive. So I stick it round again, and again it's a case of making sure that it fits into place. Now you'll see that there is a little bit of mountboard coloured bits on the corner where it's folded. I folded it to colour it, but I do need at this point to go back and fit it back in, colour it back in. I just get my pen in a bit and I will colour it in. Now I'm going to stick on these two decorative panels. Now again, they're different sizes, so you need to make sure that you get them in the right place. And this is the piece that actually, not this one, the larger one of the two, that I wish I hadn't stuck in place before I made my extension. But it's just a case of putting it in place. Now you can, if you want, be more exact than I am, and you can sort of measure it and make sure it's right. I eyeball it. For the kind of pieces that I make, quite often eyeballing is enough. I want them to be less than perfect. So there's the first one on, and we're going to the second one, and again apply the glue to the back and stick it in place. Now you'll see shortly that this is my one mistake with this piece, and I'm kind of kicking myself a little bit, not too much, but just a little bit. And there we go. And a little bit of fiddling because, well, you have to, don't you? And it's sort of complete. And I've got to admit that the finish with the marker does actually look a lot better in real life than it does on the camera. But here is the completed kit of the counter, and it's ready for me to move on and make my extensions. And so that's where we're going next. I have completed the first of my two extensions, and this is actually the extension that I want to be a solid piece. This is going to be facing the front of the bar, and you can see straight away the kind of error that I made sticking that on. If I'd left that off, I could have put that over once I've coloured in my extension and nobody would know. I touched in those corners. I touched in that corner and then I covered it up. Such is life. I've made my extension just using some cereal box board, a couple of layers of it, and single layer in other places, and I've just built a sort of box on the end. I could put a little handle on there so it looks like there's some kind of a cupboard if I wanted to. I don't know if I will or not. We'll see. Obviously now I've got to add some colour to that, and it's probably going to take a couple of coats of the alcohol marker to build up enough colour to suit. But I've got one side done. The other side is going to be a sort of arch and gate, which may or may not actually be shut, open, whatever. I'm not sure. You find these in a lot of older pubs in the UK, whereby there's an hinged section of the bar counter that lifts up so that the bar staff can get out into the bar, and then there's a bit underneath quite often that sort of opens more like a gate than a door. But yeah, that's what I'm going to try and do, but I may not actually be able to fix that into place until I actually fix the stuff inside the bar. There will also be some shelves when I come to it. I want some shelves, if I show you the property, and please excuse any extraneous noise from outside. I want to put some shelves on this bit of wall where my finger is in the back corner. Just something. I may also try and get a barrel of some description. If I can get a barrel in a suitable scale, I will put a barrel on that countertop, which will help cover up the fact that it's extended. I don't know, that'll come in when I get to dressing the bar. That's going to be a while yet. But next step, more colouring and looking at the second extension. I tried using alcohol ink of the same colour on my extension and it didn't work. Because the extension is made from a different material, it looked, well, far more brown than the original bit did. So I tried dulling it down with some grey and it still didn't work. And in the end, I actually went for going over the entire thing with a black marker. The other problem I had is that the extension was shiny. It stuck out like a sore thumb because it was really shiny. So I have been clever. I got the matte Mod Podge out, which leaves a lovely sheen. It's not really matte, please don't think it is. And I've done that, and whilst it's not perfect, I think it's going to work. Within the property, it looks okay. Once there's other things around it, it's going to fit in. So I just need to use black for the shelves and for the other bit I've got to do. So yeah, I'm fairly happy with that now. And now I've got to figure out how to make my little gate and I don't know what you call it, raising bit, but I'm going to work it out. The other extension is now complete, and this one is really simple. It's just 3 pieces. A piece for the top of the bar, which I haven't actually lined up properly, but it looks all right in situ. A piece which is basically a support, which will be against the wall, and then a piece that is what I'm calling the gate. It's not a door, which I've made so that it fits around the plinth and the bottom of the original counter, and it sort of works. It's not the best kit bashing in the world. I could probably have done better if I'd really wanted to, but I like it, and hopefully once I add some details to the scene, it will look even better. Not 100% how I'm going to do that yet. I know what I'd like to do, it's just whether I can obtain the things that I need. I am really stumped over bottles and glasses at the moment, and it's a bar and they're what I need, but there we go. If you've enjoyed this video, and I hope you have, please like, comment and subscribe, maybe even ring the notification bell. I try and put a video out every week. I aim to get them up on a Friday, but real life has a habit of getting in the way of my miniature fun. And yeah, there's not a lot we can do about that now, is there? But until next time, bye.